Hello and welcome back to another episode of What is in Our Stand Today. So at the time of making this video, it is now March 3rd of 2021, and we're getting close to about 1 year of this COVID-19 global pandemic. Actually, before we get any further along, it would be really helpful to me if you would click the like button and the little thumbs up or whatever you want to use, and if you would please subscribe to the channel. So we have very few subscribers, but we do have a lot of people who I can tell I get a lot of views, but I would like, if you like the content, that if you would please subscribe. So it helps the channel and it helps other people find what I talk about. So thank you if you've already done that. And if you haven't, please subscribe and hit that little notification bell. So, I mean, you hear this on everyone else's videos, but I thought I would ask for you to do that. So let's get back to what I was originally talking about. And that is that this is March 3rd, 2021. We're coming up on a year of this global pandemic, and the thing that's been really frustrating for me as a shop owner is the lack of supply. And I was just reading an email from Shimano. I ordered directly from Shimano, so there are a limited amount of products that you can get from other vendors when you're trying to order Shimano. So basically, things like pedals and other things you just can't get from other vendors. You have to get it from Shimano. And I was reading on their email that they were sending out to their dealers, and basically they have a lot of problem with getting production up to meet demand. On top of that, and by the way, a lot of their product is made in Japan. Their high-end wheels and things like that are made in Malaysia. So this is not so much a China shutdown, a China manufacturing issue. Shimano, being a Japanese company, they pride themselves in making their product in Japan. But the other problem that they have, besides the fact that they're trying to scale up their manufacturing production, the other problem they have is when that stuff gets on a container, which they have trouble getting space on containers, but if they get it in a container, if they do get it on board a freighter, they're also having issues with it being offloaded. So here, some people have posted some photos of some of these large freighter ships with containers on board, and they can't pull into port and get these items offloaded. So, you've got a production issue, you've got a demand issue, then you've also got the logistics side of things of, okay, let's get it into a container, let's get it shipped, and then let's get it across the ocean and get it offloaded. So Los Angeles being the most direct port for them, apparently the longshoremen, every industry has been impacted by the COVID-19 coronavirus as they call it. So if someone gets sick in your department, this is also what's happening, or what has happened in Italy. So this store is primarily an Italian-based, Italian-themed store. So we get our helmets, sunglasses, shoes, bikes, complete bikes, or even just frames. We get them from Italy. It's one of the things that I've wanted to have for my store, is just high-end product coming from places like Italy and not the Far East. And there's nothing wrong with that stuff. The carbon frames out of Taiwan and some of these other places are excellent. So I'm not denigrating those brands. It's just I have chosen to do an Italian themed store. That's all. But if someone in one of their departments gets sick, then everybody has to quarantine. And initially it used to be 14 days. Now it's, I guess, 7 to 10 days. But even still, that shuts down production for a period of time. And so, production of frames and things like that gets slowed down. If someone in the paint area gets sick, then everyone in that paint department has to go home, and then you may have a frame laid up and all the carbon work is done, but you can't get it painted. And then the next problem is getting a group set to put onto that bike. So one of my brands, Basso, still makes some paints and everything in Italy. And when you have frames, but then you don't have access to groups, you can't ship a complete bike. And so that becomes a huge challenge logistically. So here at the shop, where that impacts me is that I've got an enormous amount of service work to do. I've got folks that have wanted to do upgrades to their bikes, and they've waited and waited, and they're finally ready. And they come to me and they say, hey, I want to switch now from 10 speed to 11 speed, or 11 speed to 12, or any permutation of that. And then I have to say to them, well, it's going to be about 3 months, or it's going to be 6 months, or I'm sorry, but I don't have an ETA on these items. And, I've got a lot of frames that are potential builds, but I don't have any component groups for them. So a lot of this, you have to put yourself in the back order system. And the hard part to convince a customer is that, listen, we have to get into the queue, we have to get into the lineup. If we don't get in the lineup, we're not going to get the product when it finally arrives. If we just wait until the product arrives, by the time I go to submit the order, or by the time I get an alert, because I do have alerts with different distributors, by the time I get the alert and log on, the product is gone again. So we have to put in a back order. And something that just happened last week. So for example, I'm also a Bianchi dealer, and the Bianchi Infinito is an endurance frame. It's a very well received, very well reviewed bicycle frame. And so it sells really well with a large segment of the cycling population. It has plenty of get up and go if you want to use it as a race bike, but you just need a little bit of a taller head tube. So the Bianchi Infinito, I've had back orders on this bike for probably 6 months. And there were 4 coming in that I had on back order for, like I said, at least 5 months, probably as much as 6 months. And they were all the Celeste, because that's what people want when they want a Bianchi. And 2 of them, customers got so tired of waiting all this time that they ended up buying another brand, another bike. And then when I contacted them and said, hey, these bikes are inbound, do you still want it? Then they said to me, oh man, I should have waited. I really wanted that bike, but I just couldn't keep waiting. And so I purchased something else. And I know that that's hard. I know that if you have your heart set on a particular bike build, that it's hard not knowing. I think that's the other thing. So there's a lot of times when a bike manufacturer will say to me, oh, that'll be at least 2 months. And then 2 months comes by. Oh, it's going to be another month or so. I don't know how much longer. And then you tell the customer, hey, I know we said 2 months when you first placed this order, but now it's 3 months, possibly 4. Are you willing to wait? Yeah, okay, I'll wait a little bit longer. But when it stretches out to 5 or 6 months, I completely understand if a customer says, listen, I tried, you know, I had my back order with you, but honestly, I'd like to cancel it and I'd like to move on to something else because every time you give me a date, it slides again. And those things are out of my control. So I actually wanted to mention one other thing. I've been on hiatus now for probably a year of making videos. And the thing is that we had the lockdown, and when we were about 3 to 4 weeks into the lockdown, which scared the bejesus out of me, I thought I was going to go out of business. Then all of a sudden, I had this huge influx of business come through. So much so that I was not able to make any videos. So the hashtag of what is in our work stand today probably went dormant for about a year. And I'm finally at a point now where I can manage the amount of work and I can spend 8 to 10 minutes making a video for you folks because I have been that busy that I couldn't even take the time to do a video. And especially if it needed any type of editing, where I posted the video, I made several segments and then tried to do the editing and try to, make one long video, or you know what I mean, not long, but one flowing video. And I just didn't have the time for any of that, and I don't have any other help, so I'm not able to do that either. But yeah, so right now workload's a little bit lighter. It's manageable. I still have a shop full of bikes. I'm also going to do a video on this canyon behind me here, in addition to this one that I'm doing now. So I'm hoping to get at least 1 to 2 videos out a week moving forward. And I do appreciate everyone who has watched my videos in the past, and I thank you very, very much for your support. I appreciate everyone who's ever subscribed to my channel. But I promise that I will get more videos out moving forward, and I really, really appreciate those that check in. But that was just kind of an update video, and then we'll get back to the series of what is in our work stand today. But in the meantime, please hit that like and subscribe and the little bell icon, and I look forward to seeing you folks very, very soon. Thank you. See you in the next one.